Let me get to, speaking of victims, this criminal kills. This criminal killed. I got this from WFLA and Big Bump, or this is from it. Criminal justice activist arrested after a, cover your ears, kids and ladies and faint of heart, head was found in a freezer. And he wasn't white. He wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. Laura Ingle and Sean Noone write about this in WFLA. A few days ago, this came out, News Nation. A criminal justice activist who recently appeared on My Competitor, not Alex Jones, he wouldn't have fallen for this, Joe Rogan's podcast, was arrested after a severed head was found in his freezer. What? This is all alleged. We don't know. Sheldon Johnson, age 48, was charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon, according to the New York Police Department, NYPD. Conducting a wellness check in the victim's apartment, 979 Summit Avenue, around 8:30 p.m. On I don't know what day, police found the man's torso with the legs attached, authorities and sources said. Colin, Collin, Small, age 44, pronounced dead at the scene. Because he didn't have his head, right? Sorry, kids, ladies. Sheldon Johnson had become an advocate, who is the suspect, allegedly may have done this, right? We don't know. Sheldon Johnson had become an advocate, an activist. Advocacy and activism is sort of like a liberal thing, in my mind. Well, it's a liberal thing, but it's also sort of a woman thing. Because they're pouting off and spouting off and trying to get the powerful people, so-called, to listen to them. After his release for a string of armed robberies in 1999. 1999. Keep in mind he's 48, so he would have been like 28 or so. Wait, no. He would have been, I don't know. He would have been 24, 25, something like that, around then. His story of rehabilitation after his release from prison turned him into a criminal justice activist, made multiple public appearances, spoke on the Joe Rogan experience about his time behind bars. I got into school, got my GED. From there, I got GED is high school graduate certificate, even though you didn't actually finish high school, I guess. Right? So you must have been a dropout. I got involved in correspondence courses, started interacting with guys who were teaching aggression replacement training. Aggression replacement training. So take your aggression out at the gym, working out, or something. Anger management, they call it sometimes. I gather, based on that term. I started to begin to understand how these concepts work, what positive visualization is. Positive visualization, deep breathing, conflict resolution, all these ideas of change began to take place with me. Queens Defenders, the Queens, New York, right? The public nonprofit public law firm, where this Sheldon Johnson worked, declined to comment. Expected in court today, Monday. Crazy, huh? And so on Joe Rogan's podcast, I saw this little clip of it. And I don't have it for you, but Joe Rogan's like, typical kiss up white man, typical kiss up nice guy, fake reasonableness. Or reasonability, fake reasonable. False righteousness. This guy, Joe Rogan, my competitor, whom I really like actually, but he's apparently off on this. He might not even be entirely off on this, but he says, there is no talk about I don't know if he said rehabilitation, but it was along those lines. Rehabilitating these guys when they get out of prison, having a life for them or whatever. There's no equality of opportunity. Did he say that? I think he said something like that. He doesn't want equality of outcomes because he had a guest on who was also on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Jordan B. Peterson, who says equality of outcome is communism. But we certainly have to have equality of opportunity. There's no such thing even as equality of opportunity. Equal opportunity is a communist buzzword, and he fell for it because he's an intellectual. He's an atheist, I think. Joe Rogan, whom I really like and have a lot of respect for in some ways, but he's off on this, I'm pretty sure, quite sure. Equality of opportunity, equal opportunity. You know, they have the communist government has equal opportunity employment employment or something, EEOC, whatever. There's no such thing as that. Nobody has the same opportunities, but everybody has opportunities. Right? There's always an opportunity, and you well know, if you're watching, even if you're blind, but spiritually blind and dumb, but look back on your life, you missed opportunities. Or you're missing opportunities right now. I'm shaking my head about it. The government is not the answer. It's part of the problem. Because I guess that the government is the idea for equal opportunities. Nor either is, what is that? The non-government, other people. Other people are not going to give you your opportunities that you need or guide you in the way that you need to be guided. I saw a quote from like some gang members or something about we need programs. It's fun for the young people to steal cars or break into cars. They need programs to give them something to do. How about have a job? As I almost wore a Get a Job shirt. How about get a job? No, that's for the Hispanics or whatever, the Latinos, the immigrants. How about parents, fathers, marrying the mothers or staying with them or something? Guiding them, not being she's the boss, kiss up simps, kiss up to emotions and all that. But no, they just want to blame the government, blame the criminal justice system, blame the private prisons, because they blame private prisons because private prisons make a profit off of heads being in prison. I think because they're in bed with the government. The government is paying out money. That's pretty sick. The governments, I should say, because it's state government, there's federal government, and then there's also local governments, and they all get money, take money. This black guy who allegedly was found with a head in his freezer, probably of another black dude. He was black. He was in his late 40s, 48 years old, this man who's now arrested again. He is there with his lawyer on this podcast with my competitor, Joe Rogan. And he's talking about, I sold some drugs and this guy owed me money or something like that. And I looked and he didn't have the money for me, but he was there with his girlfriend and he had all this jewelry. And I'm like, that jewelry's mine. That jewelry is mine. And so he and his buddies beat up that guy and took the money and happened to beat up the girl too. And so he spent 25 years in prison for that. Sure, he did a lot of other things that he wasn't not caught for. And I saw this victim-minded chat in the live chat. OG Ghost over on the Jesse Lee Peterson live chat. When I mentioned this story to Jesse Lee Peterson, the prior show on the JLP network, I mean, the dude did 25 years over some nonsense, so no wonder he was deranged, says OG's Ghost. OG Ghost. OG Ghost says, I only did a few months in jail, and it ruined my life. All over petty nonsense. And I'm white, he said. I do not know or care for the sake of this story or for the sake of your attitude, you being the general you, anybody's attitude, including OG Ghost, whether the so-called justice system is unjust or not. I joke around, well, I tell people, honestly, chin-up kings, I'm jokingly calling them kings, these whites who are persecuted in the prisons and jails. The January 6ers, chin-up kings. Derek Chauvin, chin-up king. Many a man has gone to jail being accused by women, blacks, mainstream media, Democrats, and other evil people of doing evil, and you haven't done quite the evil that they accuse you of doing. But a few months in jail or 25 years in jail should not ruin your life. It might take up a chunk, some years out of your physical life, but it should not ruin it. Being deranged from that, everybody's dealing with injustices. Everybody's doing wrong stuff to each other and to themselves. And that's on you. The stuff that happens to you, the stuff that people do, and people do a lot of evil things to one another, that shouldn't be what breaks up your life and messes you up to the where you're going to allegedly cut off a head or whatever, or have the head in your freezer. That's crazy. Men are supposed to be more resilient than that. Look at Joseph. I was listening to Church with Jesse Lee Peterson yesterday. I was in the service. I was right there in the other room where we have church. And I believe Rochelle or somebody brought up Joseph, who was put in prison over a false accusation from Potiphar's wife. But what did he do? He thrived. He had a good attitude, allegedly, according to the Bible. And he became the man on top. Like JLP said about Trump, they put him in jail. He'll become not king, president of the jail, of the prison. Doubt he'll go to jail, but. No, you're supposed to have a good attitude. You won't be the same. 25 years, that's life, says David. I'm not sure what you mean. Of course you won't be the same, but you hopefully come back better, not bitter. Maybe you'll be bitter at first because it's like, that's a trip. But hopefully you snap out of it. You snap out of it. Steve C. says they have banned the box on employment applications because so many blacks are getting arrested. Ban the box means you check a box if you had a felony or not. Have you had a felony? You check the box if you say, yes, you had a felony. Something like that. Do you have any felonies? Because some people want the right to discriminate against felons. They don't want to take that risk. Now they want to ban the box because there's many nice felons, supposedly. There's many nice people, and you're not supposed to trust nice people, by the way. Have you know? I would have you know. OG Ghost turned black on the inside. Only did a few months in jail, ruined his life all over petty nonsense. Petty nonsense. And he's white. I'm not even saying, because I don't know, that the stuff that's being done to you guys is just or unjust. Maybe don't commit crimes, as says Big Mitch 909. That's too much to ask of some people, Big Mitch 909. Some people are just going to commit crimes. But as JLP said in church with JLP yesterday, if you're in jail, it's your fault. There is something you didn't see. There was something you didn't see. Whether it's just or unjust that you are in jail, there was something that you were blind to. You couldn't see what you were getting into. We talk about the January 6ers and how it's unjust that they're in there because they're being held, like, they're getting disproportionate punishment, or they're being held there without trial, according to reports. I don't know. But still, they walked into that trap. They were caught up in their emotions. They did not have any business doing that, doing some of the stuff that they did. You know, breaking windows, moshing with the police, parading through the Capitol, getting all caught up in the emotions of it and trespassing. When you clearly see this, like, there's some barriers here. You're not supposed to cross the barriers. Well, Black Lives Matter did it and they got away with it. Get used to a double standard. The world is evil and unjust. I'm going to tell you about what's going on in the UK in the next hour or so, or later, or earlier, I mean. But get used to the injustice. That's not something to pout about. That's what the world is supposed to be, is unjust and evil. I get that in the older days, maybe it wasn't as bad. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it was not as bad in the older days. We had innocent and less proven guilty. Men were more reasonable and sane. Women were not worrying their pretty little heads as much. Hake almost stole once. But you're not supposed to be shocked or dismayed or stuck on that thought that it's unjust. Of course it is. Of course it is. That's why I think you guys underappreciate our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, because he keeps a great attitude. I was listening to the JLP, and then I'll get to calls. Hang tight, callers. Hang on. I'll try to do this fast. I was listening to the JLP highlights, best of the week, Jesse Lee Peterson show, the Jesse Lee Peterson show on Saturday, because was there no Anchor Baby on Friday? I forget. I think there was not, right? Something happened. I think, let me see, because I don't want to say bad information. American Anchor Baby. Yeah, I don't think he did not have a live show. Anchor Baby, he was supposed to have one, but there was some problem with the computer. Okay? Technical issues. And so I listened to the JLP highlights that came out. You can podcast it or catch it on the Jesse Lee Peterson YouTube channel. And, man, now I forgot the point that I was going to make about it. Let me look. YouTube.com/JLP Talk. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, best of the week. There's a guy who was very grateful for JLP. Trump back on the ballot. Oh, yeah. He's talking about, and I don't know if this was this week or this past week or the week before. Trump was talking about how the black people like me because some people say that they've suffered so much discrimination and they think I'm being discriminated against. People think I'm being discriminated against. And he's like smiling. You don't see him down being a victim. People say, oh, Trump is always whining. He's whining consciously. He's whining for Christ. He's whining not with this whining spirit. He's stating the injustices, but you can tell he's not moved by it. At least he does not come off as though he's down about it. I spout off all the time about how everybody's hating the whites right now, but I don't feel hated, but I know that they do hate the whites. I know that. It's quite obvious. So don't let it affect you. Nice. Or it shouldn't even be something that you feel like you have to not let affect you. If it is, hey, just realize that's insane. Nice. Never let stuff get you down. Yeah. Because like I said, victims become perpetrators and a head could pop up in your freezer and then you're on the hook for something. What a mess. So shout out to that man who's an alleged return criminal. Apparently there's generations of them. His father was the first. He was the second. He's something the second. And there was another guy who was the third. His son was the third. Father was senior, son is junior, and then grandson is the third. And they all did evil, physical, black crime. And the father's black crime, by the way, was a violation of a stepdaughter. So people saying, oh, whites do this to kids. Yes, that's a fact. And every bit as much, if not more so, blacks, Hispanics, who are encouraged in that sexuality mess. Just FYI. If you catch my drift. Ooh.